It's been 1 year since I was laid off from my job, and I'm going to tell you everything that I've been doing over the past 12 months. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long because I've done so much. And to be honest, when it first happened, it was last March. I had just turned 51, and I was working a job that I actually really loved for the first time in a long time. And it just ended just like that. The rug was pulled up from under us. I worked for a nonprofit organization. And if you remember the headlines last year when the new administration came in and pulled the funding out up from up under different uh, sectors of the government, such as the CDC, my organization was one of the ones that was affected, because the CDC is in Atlanta. But anyway, here's what I've been doing for the past year, and it's been a lot. So I've got my notes so I won't forget anything. So I was laid off in March, and I didn't really look for another job. I mean, I did look a little bit, but kind of half-heartedly. I had decided that, you know what, it's time. It's time for me to do some things for myself. Kids were older, everybody was kind of doing their own thing, working, and I took some time to really think about it. I took a few weeks to think about it and said, you know what, I'm not even gonna go really hard with looking for a job. And also on top of that, the job market was really like sucky. It wasn't easy. I knew people who were looking and there was like nothing. Uh, and then on top of that, on top of the kids moving out and me kind of stepping back from mom role, I was actually stepping out of wife mode as well. So my husband and I decided to take on a marriage sabbatical where, well, basically like a separation. So he moved out, the kids moved out, and our lease was almost up because we were leasing our house. And so I stayed in the house for a couple more months until the lease was up. And that was that. I sold everything, which is, I'm not new to selling things. Like, I've been moving and downsizing. This has been like a constant process since about 2019 when we moved out of our first house, large 5 bedroom and the whole 9 yards. And we decided to downsize and start renting. And so I did it again this time with the house that we were renting. Sold some stuff, gave some stuff away, and the little bit of stuff that I had left over, I put it in storage. A lot of it, though, I gave to my kids because it was their, well, my son's first apartment, and my daughter decided to move in with him, which was great. That's a mom's dream. I don't have to worry about anybody. They're both in one spot. But yeah, put some stuff in storage, and then packed up a couple of suitcases, and I went across country to my mom's. By then, it was the end of August. So I did all that between March and August. What's that? March, April, May, June, July, August. In the span of 5 months. Uh, yeah, so I went out, spent some time with mom, and while I was there with her, I did a lot of self reflection. A lot of self reflection, lots of writing, journaling, walks. It's super peaceful there because my mom lives in one of those planned senior communities, and everybody's so low key. Everybody's so low key, and it's a retirement community. It's literally like living at a resort. So that part about it, I love. And my mom's pretty low key too. Not a nagging mom at all. uh, so that was August. We kind of spent some time doing things, and my mom and we both love to travel. So we took a little weekend trip to Vegas, and we had fun doing that. And then I did my first ever solo trip. I booked myself a 2 week cruise all by myself. And although I travel a lot, I've traveled a lot over the years. I used to be a travel agent. Only this year I decided that I wasn't going to do travel planning, one off travel trips anymore. But I am a travel planner, a professional travel planner, but I had never done a solo trip on my own. And I decided, you know what? Let me see what it's like. And I recommend everybody, every woman actually, should do a solo trip at least one time in her life. It was the best. Just the sense of sovereignty and doing what I want, doing what you want, when you want, not having to think for everybody else and plan for everybody else. It's just a sense of freedom. And if you are ever wanting to do a solo trip, but you were afraid to do it, I would definitely recommend doing it as a cruise because it's kind of contained. Like you're out there doing things on your own, but you're never really alone. There's people everywhere, and uh, I would suggest doing it as a cruise because it feels familiar, especially if you leave from an American port. Then everybody on there, just about everyone there, speaks your language. You all kind of have that in common. So anyway, I flew to another country to get on the cruise that lasted for 2 weeks, but it was just to the north, our friends in Canada, and I chose that one because I wanted to do something different. I had never been to that part of Canada. I'd never been to Quebec or Montreal. So that's what I did. I flew, well, first I flew to New York City and I spent some time with my nana, just a couple days because she had her 90th party. And from there, it was a quick little flight, 1, 2, 3, right up to Canada. And I spent some days in Montreal. I had never been there and I loved it. And they speak English, but also everyone who I encountered just automatically spoke French to me. And I had to always say, I speak English, I'm so sorry. And they would immediately switch over. But that also made me realize, like, I need to learn a new language because every time I go somewhere, everyone is speaks at least two languages. Even if they're not proficient in English, they know a little bit. And here I am, just like a product of the American school system, where they don't really, enforce that we be proficient in another language. But anyway, that's for another video. It's not, I'm not. I can get on my soapbox and talk about the U.S. school system, and I can talk about that all day. So yeah, went up to Canada and did a 2 week cruise, and it went down the eastern shore, down the eastern seaboard, I guess you call it. Uh, and it went from Canada, Nova Scotia. I went to Boston, Massachusetts, Maine, lots of places that I had never even been. And I'm an East Coast girly. I was born and raised in New York City. And even though I moved from there in my early 20s, I still stayed on the East Coast. I spent all of my adult years just until recently living in Atlanta. That's where I got married. I got married in Atlanta. I raised my kids in Atlanta. And um, it's just that I had never been to those certain places on the East Coast. So I did that and it was really fun. I met lots of people and it was something new and it really felt good to just do a solo trip. I recommend ladies do it. Do a solo trip. Okay, so after my first ever solo trip, that was in October, then, and I think it was the end of October or something like that, I ended up back in Arizona. Uh, I needed to go back and support my mom because she had a surgery and I wanted to support her with her recovery and all of that. I actually had a trip planned to go to Europe and do a transatlantic cruise because that's something that I've always wanted to do. It just seems so, like, I don't know. There's just something nostalgic about it. And I really wanted to do the transatlantic cruise from one continent to the next. But I ended up canceling because, like I said, I wanted to go and help my mom out and help her recover from her surgery. And that's another thing, ladies, about travel. Whenever you're planning a trip, always, 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 always get your travel insurance because you never know when you might have to cancel. You just never know. So I had to cancel that trip, but luckily, not luckily, intentionally, I had my travel insurance, and so I wasn't out anything except good memories. But that place will always be there. My mom, you only get one mom. So I went back and helped my mom. That was towards the end of the year, November, December. And I was still going, even though I was separated from my husband. We still talked almost every day. sending each other messages and things like that. And I went back to Atlanta to spend Thanksgiving with him and the kids, and then I went back to Atlanta for New Year's to spend New Year's with him and the kids. And I'll tell you during that second visit around the New Year's is when I really knew like Atlanta just ain't for me anymore. Sometimes you just outgrow places. I knew that I was outgrowing Atlanta, that I was outgrowing the whole situation that I was in. Not that I hated my life, I was just ready to expand. I was just ready to do more. Being that I got married so young and started a family so young, I just always had this itch that needed to be scratched. Like, I don't feel like I ever really had time to myself like in my 20s. I think about my kids. My son is 25 and my daughter is 29, and they're having the times of their lives. They're both single and childless, and I'm not rushing them to have grandkids or anything like that. But I really encourage them to like do all the things, and they're world travelers. They've been everywhere. They've been more places than I have. um, so yeah, that's December, the end of the year, which was only 2 months ago. Actually, three months ago. We just started March. So that's when I decided I'm not coming back to Atlanta. That's also when I decided I want to spend my birthday in another country, and I know where. I've always had Southeast Asia on my um, list of places to go, and I said this is the time. Like, I'm free, nothing holding me back. Why not? So in the span of two deciding I wanted to go and booking was about 3 weeks. It was about 3 weeks. I decided I want to go to Thailand. I made all my plans. Well, that was nothing for me because I am a professional travel advisor and planner. And even before I decided to do it professionally, that was my thing. Everybody came to me to plan the trips, my family, friends, everybody. So yeah, that was nothing for me to do. I did my research. I binged watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and watched other creators talking about how they moved abroad. And I really started thinking seriously about moving abroad and booked the trip. I decided I'm going to go and stay for 6 weeks. So I booked and I split my time between Thailand and Vietnam. So I spent 3 weeks in Thailand, and I booked for to spend 3 weeks in Vietnam. And I'm 5 weeks in now, and I got to tell you, my life has been transformed. But before I get into that, let me see if I skipped anything. No, yeah, that's about right. That's the timeline. So I'm in Vietnam right now, and I'm on my fifth week. I have another week to go before I head back to the United States, and I'll be going back to Arizona. And within this 6 weeks, it has been life changing. I mean, this has been a life changing year for me from last March to this March. And then I always try to think of my new year, actually, my new year. I know it's January on the calendar, but my birthday is in February, and I always look at that as like my personal new year. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. Like, I think from year to year, you should evolve, not based on everybody else's year, but based on your own personal experiences, your own personal life experience. And you experience your years like on your birth date, like the day you were born. So if you count years in that way, um, I think that's a good way to measure like where you are year after year. So yeah, I spent my birthday in Thailand, and it was wonderful. Met so many great people, was inspired by so many people. And like I said, my life has been changed. I'm 5 weeks in, and let me tell you the different ways how my life has been changed. I definitely see myself differently now. I see myself differently. I've definitely expanded my whole identity. Um, for one thing, I've always lived by like my own personal philosophy for years and years and years. Well, not years and years and years, but I'd say the past 15 years or so, I like came up with my own life philosophy, which I've shared with everybody I know, and they know. I used to talk about it a lot. My brand was simple, organized, uncluttered life. That was one of the things I used to do, was help people get their entire life organized, and that's still my brand. That's still my trademark brand, but I've kind of expanded that, and I'm that's still me at my core, but I've expanded that whole thing and kind of it's evolved into something else. And that only I think that only would have come about, that or that wouldn't have come about if I hadn't come here and done this. And I'm just so in awe of myself, actually, to be honest with you. Um, which brings me to the word wow. I was gonna say I'm wowed by myself, but just yesterday, I came into I had a conversation with a friend and was enlightened with this new phrase that she introduced me to, called entering into our wow era. And I'm like, wow, what is that? Wow. Wow. And it's woman, uh, uh, work optional woman. And I feel like I'm in my work optional woman era. And that resonated so deeply with me because, for one, I'm in my 50s and I do really feel like I want to be making money and living my best life without having to work all the time or grind for it. I've always been against grind culture from day one anyway. That's never really been aligned with my spirit. Grinding and working hard and all of that. I've always felt like I have to do work that is aligned with me. But I love this concept of moving really intentionally into this wow era, because I was always made to feel kind of bad or guilty about being a person who don't like to work hard or grind. And now I'm unapologetically in my wow era. I want to be a work optional woman, meaning I have positive income flow whether I work or not. And I love that. And I love it. And I'll be talking about that a lot because it just resonates so deep with me. So there's that. Also, the other thing that has really transformed me since being here is, in my solitude, I figured out my superpowers. Like, always known my gifts. I've just never really shared all of them with the world. I've always said, oh, I want to do a YouTube channel. I want to do this, like that. For a while, I used to be on Facebook and people really resonated with me there. But I've always wanted to be consistent and do something in a really big way. And I'm actually doing it now. And it's been easier for me without all the distractions and different things slowing me down or pulling my attention away, different people who need you for different things, different roles that people expect you to fill. I don't have any of that. And so in solitude, you can really not only discover your superpowers, but unleash them. And one of the superpowers that I've discovered is my age. For a minute, I remember when I turned 40 and I was really bummed about it. Turning 40 was not good for me. I thought the worst. And I'll never forget, my Nana told me, don't be sad. Your best days are all ahead of you. And I really took that to heart. And I have to say, it has gotten better like every year, because when I turned 50, it was great. And it seems like every year after 50, it gets better. So, anybody who's listening and you're not quite there yet in your 50s, I want to tell you that it gets so much better. I can't even explain to you how much better it is, but you just get this sense of freedom. You start to think differently. You become your own. You come into your own if you allow it. Uh, so yeah, there's that. And yeah, I just expanded my entire identity. I started seeing myself differently. And so in seeing myself differently in my mind, I start to move differently and do different things. And when you start to move differently and do different things, then your life becomes different. That's how you evolve and change, is by changing here first. And I've always known that, but it's just taken effect like in a whole different way. I mean, I had to come all the way across the world to do it, but hey, this is what it is. Uh, and then some of my biggest confidence boosters, I've always felt confident. We all have moments of low confidence, but some of the biggest confidence boosters for me has been being across the world and having this language barrier. I talked about it a few minutes ago about having this, like, but it can be difficult for me. The hardest part was like navigating the airports and like asking questions and like and especially here in Vietnam, they ain't got no patience. I mean, they're kind people, and they're direct also, and nothing bothers me. I mean, I'm born and raised in New York, and I'm pretty blunt and direct myself. But yeah, that's been like the biggest thing. But with technology, there's a Google Translate or different apps. That's nothing. That's like the smallest things. But that's really helped to boost my confidence. Like, okay, I can go places by myself and navigate this world. A thing like language is not going to stop me from going places and doing what I need to do. And eventually, I'm going to learn a language wherever I decide to land, because right now I'm bouncing around. But wherever I land, I'm going to learn the language. And that's going to be an easy thing to do. And then the biggest thing is all of the wonderful people, meeting the people that I've met. They've inspired me so much. I mean, hold on. My battery's about to die. Let me plug in. Okay, we're back. I had to plug in. My camera was dying. It was low on juice. So, like I was saying, oh yeah, meeting people has been one of the best things ever. I've been so inspired, and I mean, so many different types of people: families, women with families, single ladies, couples, just people who have, and most of the people who I'm meeting, I'd say all of the people who I've met, no, most of them, not all of them, are either traveling full time or they live here. They decided to move from, excuse me, from the United States abroad and are loving it, and everybody's doing it in their own way and doing what works for them. And I guess that's what this whole year has taught me too. I need to do what works for me, and you got to do what works for you, and that means having an uh, just embracing or expanding your identity and embracing this new person who you want to be. So yeah, they've really inspired me, and I've done some things just like that, things that I've been wanting to do for years, that I've managed to accomplish in these few short weeks that I've been that I've been abroad. And one of those things is making money online and making money in a way that is aligned with who I am and what I want to do. For most of my adult life, I kind of did things that other people wanted me to do, like working for the family's business. That wasn't really my dream. It wasn't my dream at all. But I worked for the family. I helped grow the business, and that was what I did at the time. It was what was working because it was convenient. It gave me lots of freedom. I'll say that because if you work for yourself or you work for your family, you can kind of do things to your own schedule, and I was blessed in that way. But again, it wasn't my dream. It's not something that I would have ever chosen for myself. If I had to think about what I saw myself doing in my life, that was the furthest thing from my mind. Even though it gave me a good life, but there was still something missing. I've always wanted to write and create. I have a creative soul. I want to write things. I like making videos. I like teaching. I like coaching. And these are things that I've always done for my friends and family all the time. They know me as like the giving person, the wise sage, always giving advice, and never unwarranted usually. But I'm the person that my friends and family come to when they want sound advice, and um, when they want someone's a listening ear, but usually with sound advice, because I'm going to be the voice of reason every time. So, yeah, where was I now? Oh, yeah, the friends showing me all these different ways on how I can increase my income and just live wherever I want and do whatever I want, because that was one of the things that was kind of holding me back from moving permanently, which is something that I'm really thinking about doing seriously now. As a matter of fact, I know I'm going to do it. But one of the things that was holding me back was, how am I going to make money, like full income? And they've really inspired me to go ahead and go out there and do the thing, because they're doing it in so many ways. So I've always done different things, even when I was home in the United States, like different. And so, one thing I want to share with you is I created a free download, a PDF of the different ways that I make money online when I was at home. Even when I had a full time job or worked for my family, I was always having like different streams of income. So that is not, I'm not new to that. I've never just depended on one stream of income. So I'm going to share with you the different ways on how you can make money, because now that I think about it, all of these different things that I've been doing over the years as kind of like something for fun and didn't really take it seriously, I guess it was preparing me for now, because now I'm taking everything seriously. So I'm going to link, I'm going to put in the description where you can download this free PDF. I'm going to make a list of all the things that I do to make money online that you could do also from anywhere in the world. If you're still at home, get it going now so that you can ultimately be able to use that as income to go out and live your dreams. So there's that. The other thing I want to do is invite you to my signature series, which I was inspired to do while I was here, and it's called the Expansion Experiment. And it's a workshop that I put together because as I've been sharing this over on different platforms, Facebook and with friends and family, and strangers also, they want to know, like, wow, how did you do that, and what how did you do it, why did you do it, how can I do it too? I've always wanted to travel, I've always wanted to do it. So I put together a workshop, and what you're going to walk away with is, it's a live workshop, but you're going to walk away with a recording. But I'm also going to give you step by step on what you need to do in order to actually, like I talked about, expand your identity through travel, so that you can, so that it matches your life vision. Whatever your thing is, even if it's not going across the world, but whatever your thing is, but my signature thing is traveling. So it's probably going to be based a lot on travel, but join the workshop and you're going to walk away with those things. You're going to have your personalized plan. We're going to go through it together, and I'm going to give you a series of experiments to do every week. I like to think of things as experiments because to me, it takes the pressure off. Because when you're experimenting with something, you're not expecting perfection, but you're in motion, you're doing something. And so that's why I labeled it as experiments. And we're going to get in the lab and we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done in 90 minutes, and you're going to walk away with a whole new expanded mindset. So there's that. Uh, and then, oh, the Expansion Collective. You can join that also. That is totally free. I told you a little while ago that I was a travel agent, a professional travel agent. And what's funny is that in the beginning of the year, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to focus on being a travel advisor anymore and do these one off trips, because I want to just focus on different things. That was the beginning of the year, calendar year, meaning January 1st. I was like, that's it. I'm not going to renew my travel agent credentials. And when I tell you, every week someone's calling me or in my inbox asking me for, I need you to plan this, or one of my friends or family is calling me, telling me, referring me to people. And it wasn't like this last year. And the whole reason I decided I didn't want to do it this year is because last year I felt like the the amount of business that was coming in, it was one of a few. I told you I do a couple of things, but it was one of the, I felt like it wasn't worth my time. It's all of the work that is involved with travel planning, because whatever I do, I'm going to do it well, and I provide excellent service. I'm very service driven with the work that I do, and I decided, you know what, the amount of money that I get is it's not, I don't like to trade time for money unless I'm really really loving it. And it just wasn't working out. It wasn't evening out. So I decided, listen, I can't give the best service. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I keep getting so much service now. I keep getting so many customers now. And what I've been doing is passing it along to my favorite mentor, well, my only travel mentor. She's the best. She's got like 20 years in the game. She's a vet, and I love her to death. Uh, so yeah, I've also decided, you know what? That might be a sign that people are still looking to me as the travel expert. I'm going to still use my travel superpowers, but in a different way. Instead of doing one off things, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and put together like these curated trips for women 50 and over, because I know I like community when I'm away. Even when I'm traveling, I kind of gravitate to women, even if they're not in my age group. I gravitate to other women, so that we can have this shared experience, and we end up bonding and having this whether we sometimes we create long friendships, sometimes we're just passing. But I like being in community. So that is what the Expansion Collective is all about. It's basically um, you'll get updates on the experiences that I'm going to be putting together. Always going to be, I don't like large groups either because I feel like you can't make connections that way. So it's always going to be small groups of women geared towards 50s, maybe 40s. Let's just say grown women's who are, want to travel in a group and have lovely experiences. I'll tell you too that when I was a travel agent or travel advisor, my specialty was wellness travel and luxury travel. So I like nice things. But also, I'll tell you another thing, luxury and wellness also have taken on a whole new meaning for me in my 50s. You know, like the 20-year-old TikTok version of luxury ain't it for me no more. That ain't it. So, yeah, you can sign up for the Expansion Collective, and you will definitely be getting information from me whenever I have some trips put together, and you can decide whether you want to join me or not on that. And that is all for this video. That was a lot. That's everything I've been doing since I lost my job at 51 a year ago this month. And it seems like yesterday. So, my name is Toy, and that's all I have for you today. But I come on here and I talk to women in their 50s, and I like to teach about how you can expand your identity in order to match your life vision. If that's something that you then like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.